The Zeta gun is one of the most overlooked weapons in Fallout 4. People see that it does 10 damage and that it's a radiation weapon with rare ammo and just pretend it doesn't exist. And you know what? Fair. The game doesn't give you much incentive to use it when the gamma gun does 10 times the damage and Lorenzo's artifact is hilariously busted. But you know what? I think this weapon deserves a fair chance. With enough perks, skill, and patience, can you actually make it a viable weapon for the entire game? Can you beat Fallout 4 with only the Zeta gun? Considering the gun is specifically noted not to kill people, I don't have high hopes. The rules are quite simple this time around. I'm only allowed to damage enemies with the Zeta gun, I'm not allowed to gun bash with it, modify it, or put its attachment on a legendary gamma gun, I must play on very hard difficulty with no companions besides quest ones, and I must complete the Cabot House questline. At the very least, I won't be restricted when it comes to armor or consumables. Still, I'm gonna need to optimize my damage in any way possible, and getting ammo is gonna be a problem. But without any further ado, let's begin. For my looks and name, I based them on Jack Cabot sour cream. Jack Cabot, the scientist who built the Zeta gun. I won't be acting like him though, as you'll see shortly. For my special stats, I go with 1 strength, 4 perception for demo expert with the bobblehead, 5 endurance for Aquaboy and extra health, 3 charisma for lone wanderer, 9 intelligence for nuclear physicist and extra EXP, 3 agility for vats, and 3 luck for bloody mess and crits. Nothing much to say about the vault. I loot everything and either trap the red roaches behind doors or lure them into the leaky generator. However, this time I make a save right before I leave the vault, so I don't have to repeat this for future playthroughs. I loot everything around the vault entrance, most notably some stimpaks and a lot of Radaway, and then head to Sanctuary using the special book to get my intelligence to 10. This will max my EXP gains and let me get the Nerd Rage perk for extra survivability. I don't go crazy, but I do a bit of scrapping, looting, and fence post building just to get me the Aquaboy perk, which will make getting around the map a lot less of a pain. I then head to Concord in the hopes that I could watch Preston kill the raiders for me for that sweet EXP, but one of them hides under the balcony so we can't shoot him, and the other just hides in general. I then realize you can get the EXP by entering the museum and immediately leaving, even if you're in combat. That's good to know, but now I have to deal with this psycho trying to shank me to death, which I do by blocking with my bare hands and by sheer force of will, conjuring a Smash Brothers shine to deflect her blows. When I get to Trudy's diner, I remember to level up. I get Lone Wanderer, so I take less damage and can carry more, making up for my low strength. I try to resolve order up in a peaceful way, but as I'm as charismatic as a dead horse, shit hits the fan. And despite chickening out while Trudy and her son does all the work, her and the game still thinks I contributed something. Well, credit where credit isn't due, I did distract them with my fabulous outfit. After selling everything I don't need to her and buying some army fatigues, I begin to head to Diamond City. On the way there, I mark Backstreet Apparel, the amphitheater, and Park Street Station for later, level up to get the Nerd Rage perk, stop by Good Neighbor to steal some stuff and sell it back to Cleo, and wait for a DC guard to bite the bullet so I can take his armor. Oddly, none of the other guards object to or even comment on me wearing the armor of their fallen kin. With my clever disguise, I gain entry, swipe the mayor's key for later, and check if Arturo is selling any gamma rounds. He's not, but there is something useful I can buy here, a hazmat suit. Combine this with the Aquaboy perk, and now radiation is nothing more than a mild why did my head vanish? Well, time to make someone else's head vanish.
He's a synth! He'll kill us! That's enough. Kyle, no!
Okay, show's over. There are no synths in Diamond City. Hear me? Just you folks and your damn paranoia. At least someone in this town did more than just stand and gawk.
I think it's a long time I actually got my weapon, so I head over to Cabot House and see if this sentry bot is all bark, no bite.
Stay off the grass.
Oh, really? Well, what you gonna do about it then? On second thought, let's not taunt the multiple-ton armored death machine. Somehow, I use a suit and a hat to make me more charismatic, despite talking to someone over an intercom where they can't see them, maybe it gives me a confidence boost, I don't know, and convince Edward to let me in. At gunpoint, sure, but it's still better than nothing.
Edward, don't be so hasty. I like the look of this fellow.
A bit narcissistic, don't you think?
Do you believe there is other intelligent life in the universe?
I'm not sure there's any intelligent life in the universe. At least not on this planet.
Welcome to the
Mindfuck.
After being roped into a job that wasn't mentioned or agreed to until this point, I head upstairs and finally find my Zeta gun, just sitting on Jack's table. It's not meant to be a weapon to be used against normal people, it's meant to be a mobile version of Lorenzo's psychic restraints, used to weaken him if needed. As such, it does less than stellar damage, but for now, the bigger problem is finding ammo for it. And the only place I can think of to find gamma rounds this early on is the glowing sea, specifically the Crater of Adam. This is what the hazmat suit was for. At least I gained a level up from all this, letting me get the nuclear physicist perk. It boosts the gun's damage by 50%, which I can stack with Gunslinger and Demo Expert later down the line. From Diamond City, I make my way to the glowing sea, somehow not encountering any resistance on the way there. In the glowing sea itself, some rad scorpions tail me for a while, pun not intended, but as long as I start sprinting whenever I hear them pop out of the ground, they can't catch me. The real threat they pose is to the children of Adam, as they're immune to radiation and the children solely use radiation weapons. Luckily for them, the scorpions seem to be glitched into the ground, so I guess it's a stalemate? I run over to Virgil's cave to let this blow over, but when I fast travel back, disaster strikes. The only casualty of the battle was the one child of Adam that consistently sells gamma rounds. I guess that's on me for only putting 3 points into luck. At least I can get some off his corpse. The only other spot I can think of is the Cade reactor site, which has a dead child of Adam guarded by a Deathclaw. All I have to do is run in there, loot him, and then use the terrain to confuse the Deathclaw until I can make a clean break back to the crater, then fast travel back to Concord. Now that I have at least some ammo, I can try rescuing Preston, which I'm gonna need to do if I want to get into the Institute later. Even with the gun's paltry damage, the raiders here are meant for someone fresh out of the vault, so they still go down quite easily. The bigger problem is, as you'd expect, rationing my ammo. By the time I get to the 2 raiders in the mural room, I realize I won't have enough to kill them all. However, there's no rules against tricking them into killing themselves. Doesn't count as my kill in the Pip-Boy, so it's fair game. With that, I use a critical and headshots to take out the remainder, leaving me with only 1 round left. Grabbing the fusion core and perception bobblehead, I hop into the power armor and let the Deathclaw loose so it can kill all the raiders for me. They do a decent amount of damage to it, but their decision to casually jog into its razor-sharp embrace doesn't do them any favors. Then I go through the tedious process of letting Preston whittle down the Deathclaw with his Stormtrooper aim. I've shown this off plenty of times, so no need to do so again. This is when I realized that, with the amount of damage I do and the fact that I have to make every shot count, power armor is going to be the best way to even the odds. So I head up to the robotics disposal ground, where you can find a fusion core in this box and 2 more from the sentry bot by making him self-destruct. I also head into the mole rat den for another fusion core. When I get back to Sanctuary, building everything for Sturgis and reporting back to Preston gives me enough EXP to level up twice, which I use to get rank 2 of Pickpocket. With it, I can save scum, use my impeccable skill at thievery to steal gamma rounds from all the children of Adam, which nets me 100 rounds. I go back to Sanctuary and sleep for a week or so to see if they get the rounds back, but no dice. Ah well, still a major improvement. But then, that gives me an idea. I'll have to go to the northeast corner of the map for Jack Cabot anyway, and there are a lot of children of Adam in Far Harbor, hell, that region in general. So I make the long trek there, ignoring everything on the way to save ammo, and come across Maria, who looks like someone maxed out all her facial features and character creation. She tells me to check out some raiders in the nearby creamery, but that can wait. For now, I wanted to see if the stealth boy I stole from Virgil's cave could be used to pickpocket ammo from the children in the crater house. That plan is a bust, so I put on my hazmat suit and run around, trying to find any ammo they left in boxes or out in the open. I only end up finding 1 gamma round placed on a table. I then head up to Kingsport Lighthouse and try the same thing, but I end up finding no rounds. Well, I guess Far Harbor's my only option now. Since it's DLC, just going there and discovering Acadia is enough to almost level me up twice, so that's nice at least. I don't bother with the whole defending the town bit though. If they're not gonna appreciate my help, they're not gonna get it. In Acadia, I find gamma rounds much sooner than I expected, as Degen sells a hefty 31 of them. However, there's a slight problem. They're 31 caps. Each. Luckily, I've been hoarding a bunch of stuff to sell, but still, that's gonna be a major problem later on. I must be at the level where vendors start selling them regularly, as the local mechanic also has some in stock, so now it's not an issue of quantity, but price. For now, I get the Gunslinger perk to increase my damage and head over to the nucleus, encountering no resistance on the way. Last time, I tested what would happen if you killed the guy who gets shot, so let's try the opposite, shall we?
Richter, this is insane. You can't expect us to...
Huh. I guess Adam smited him. I reload a save and pickpocket the girl who shoots him to see if that would change anything, but nope. Guess she had one in the chamber. Anyways, I accept the hazing ritual to get in and follow a ghostly lady to a little shack surrounded by ghouls. As the ghouls will rip me to shreds in seconds, I quickly rush inside, close the door, and hide until they lose interest in me. Then I solve the little puzzle to get the icon and run so I can fast travel away. In the nucleus, I pickpocket everyone for ammo, pick up anything of value to sell it back for more ammo, turn in the mother icon, and do the Confessor's Witch Hunt for some extra EXP, leveling me up to get the Chemist perk. Okay, now let's get on with the main quest. You may be wondering how the Zeta gun can damage the ghoul triggermen. Well, the Zeta gun doesn't actually inflict radiation poisoning. It does pure radiation damage, which is different and affects every enemy as if they had zero radiation resistance. Combine this with the hidden explosive damage it can do, and it can actually do some solid work. However, I soon realized that I'm still not prepared enough for this place, so I hand Solomon some Fern and Sheffield and Nuka-Cola, buy some more ammo from Arturo, and pick up my power armor. Speaking of explosive damage, while it doesn't say it in the Pip-Boy, the Demolition Expert perk affects the Zeta gun.
Haha, my knight in shining armor.
You know, this is one of the few times where that could be taken literally.
Think he's lighter or heavier with all those holes in him? The bullets probably add a few ounces.
What bullets? When we escape, I level up, getting another rank of Demo Expert. I then do Piper's little quest for EXP, do the whole detective routine, and now I'm ready to do a violent CAT scan of Kellogg's skull. While buying ammo to prepare, I notice that I'm going to run low on caps and things to sell soon. And you know what one of the easiest ways to make a bunch of caps, EXP, and a boatload of useful consumables is? That's right, Diamond City Blues.
Better just shoot him, Paul.
You can get his whole stash!
Sure I can. It's right here. With all these chems in my possession, I go to the glowing sea to soak up a bunch of rads, put on the Inquisitor's Cal for +4 intelligence, buy and wear a jumpsuit for +1 intelligence, down some berry mentats for +5 intelligence, and with that... This levels me up so I can get rank 2 of Nuclear Physicist, and it puts me closer to the next level as well. Alright, enough dilly-dallying, time for breakfast, because Kellogg is gonna get eaten up. As stated before, the Zeta gun does pure radiation damage, not radiation poisoning. Therefore, it affects synths, robots, and turrets, so Fort Hagen isn't much of an issue.
Dropping now. Perfect. Not a lot of people can say that. There we go.
As for Kellogg himself, I hop up on every chem in my inventory and use the critical I was saving to melt his face off. Then I finish him off with a few more shots and clean up his backup. After that, I do the whole memory den song and dance, you know how that goes, the Institute uses teleportation, etc. And when that's all said and done, I level up to get rank 2 of Chemist. I could go lobotomize a courser to death right away, but I think it's time that I got back to helping the Cabots. They are the ones who made this gun, after all. I head up to Parsons' Creamery, and to my disappointment, the raiders were not serving ice cream, just death. Thankfully, I'm much better in that department, so I get the serum and bring it back to Jack. However, his sister has run off with a new boyfriend, so now it's up to me to get her. Wait, there's another one? No, it can't be. Imposter, kill it! Ugh, it's attacking! Anyways, I encounter a cult of grifters and take a page out of another cult by giving them all Zeta Ray alignments. Now you're all Neurodyne free. No need to thank me. Come to think of it, I wonder if the Zeta gun and the Zeta Ray aligner use the same technology. Food for thought.
I just need a drink first.
Sure, here you go. I return to Jack to give him the good news. However, the Asylum is under attack by Berserk Raiders using the serum from earlier. Luckily for me, it seems Lorenzo's blood has given them a vulnerability to Zeta radiation as well, as they go down just as easily as any other Raider. I remember these guys taking 20 shots to the face in other playthroughs, but now they're dropping like flies. Maybe this gun isn't so bad after all. We come across a wounded Edward, who I try to help with a stim pack to no avail. So instead, I grab the Charisma bobblehead and leave him behind to find Lorenzo. Also, I don't know why, but this is one of my favorite lines in the game.
Lucifer's balls!
Now that we've made it to Lorenzo, Jack tells me to switch on the power so we can kill him with Zeta radiation. However, considering my gun shoots the same thing, and was made specifically to counter Lorenzo, I wanted to see what would happen if I did it myself. It makes him go all red and warbly like he's using a malfunctioning stealth boy, and it does stagger him with every shot, but it doesn't do any extra damage and as far as I can tell, doesn't inflict any status effects on him or anything. Maybe it does inflict some hidden effect or reduces his stats, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into this later. Anyways, I reload a save and just go along with Jack's plan. There is a nice bit of attention to detail here in that the room glows red when it's flooded with Zeta radiation, which is the same color my gun emits.
The Zeta radiation won't harm you.
Wait, if this stuff is supposed to be harmless to normal humans, why does my gun kick so much ass? Whatever, let's just speed things along a little bit.
Dare you! Goodbye,
After Jack does a dramatic head tilt,
No. I've answered my own question. We truly had no choice.
he tells me to meet him at Cabot House in a week to see if he can do anything with Lorenzo's artifact. I wait for a week and come back to Parsons, not Cabot House. Got your locations mixed up, buddy? Jack then tells me he made a jury-rigged laser rifle
I've hooked it up to this old laser rifle.
that uses standard energy cells
It uses standard energy cells for power.
and doesn't kill people.
It doesn't kill people.
But what he really gives me is a jury-rigged gamma gun that uses gamma rounds and most certainly does kill people. For the crime of being inconsistent, I sentence this gun to death. Now, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting Corthus. Unfortunately, some mercenaries seem determined to get in my way. It would be a lot easier if I could explain myself, we could work together to take down the Courser, and then I just paid for the girl's freedom, but since this is Combat 4, I just have to start blasting. I used the same strategy on the Courser that I used on Kellogg. Save up a crit to the head, pop all the chems I have, and lay on the damage as quickly as possible. Thanks to my power armor's high energy resistance, his gun does jack squat to me, although I have to reload for so long that he gets a chance to use a stim pack. It doesn't save him, it just wastes more of my time and ammo, but I appreciate the effort.
If you're going to kill me, then do it.
Now to get the chip in his head decoded. Despite doing normal damage to everything else, ghouls are still extremely resistant to the Zeta gun, as if you were trying to use regular radiation damage on them. Maybe the radiation damage heals them, leaving only the damage caused by the explosive part? Regardless, it would take far too much ammo to kill them, so instead I use Med-X and Buffjet to put in the code as quickly as I can while tanking the ghouls and healing with Nuka-Cola Quantum. The railroad deals with them for me, and as thanks, I don't wipe them from the face of the earth here and now. Not sure why I didn't, as you'll see later, but I have the decoded chip in hand either way. Normally, to get the Minutemen to help you with the teleporter, you'd have to do the Corvega quest for Ten Pines Bluff. I have a much more efficient solution, however. Yep, failing the quest still causes Preston to name you the General. Luckily, all I need for the teleporter is some gears for the generators, as I have more than enough of everything else. Seeing the technological wonders of the Institute firsthand, I figure that since my character is based on the scientist Jack Cabot, I should side with them this time around.
Sean, it's me. I'm your dad.
Father, what's going on? What's happening?
To be fair, I'd freak out if someone in that mask claimed to be my dad too. After the slog that is meeting all the division heads, I get a quest to bring back a rogue synth in Libertalia. But first, I head to the Olivia satellite array for a fusion core to keep my power armor running. On the way to my objective, I kill an Eyebot, save some farmers from some raiders, and watch as not one, but two vertibirds crash in almost the exact same spot. Then, a Brotherhood soldier decides now is raider culling time before he gets nuked into oblivion, with the Courser not being able to help by virtue of being in Davy Jones' locker. Somehow, a rickety makeshift lift can support the weight of my power armor, so I use it to board the ship and turn the tables on some glorified pirates. Now for the Battle of Bunker Hill, where the Institute decides it's worth it to risk a highly capable ground operative, a Courser, and a bunch of Gen 1s and 2s on 4 regular Gen 3 synths. Can't you make one of those in like 3 minutes? Anyways, while some railroad heavies go down as easily as other human NPCs, others take a lot more punishment. Their guns still don't do much to me, but in numbers they can whittle me down. As for the Brotherhood, yeah, there's no reason to even bother fighting the power-armored ones, especially with how quickly they can lay on the pain. Even the non-armored ones aren't total pushovers. I try to use Jet to get behind one of them and shoot out the fusion core, but for some reason, even sustained fire does nothing to it. So I just run inside and cut my way through the railroad there, letting them and the Institute take care of the Brotherhood for me. After sending the synths back, I loot a Fallen Knight's power armor, as mine is pretty banged up, and I am due for an upgrade anyways. Then I pick up a fusion core at Starlight Drive-In and buy some at Diamond City/Good Neighbor so I can actually keep using the damn thing. If you're wondering what buying ammo has been like this whole run, I've been building a lot of water purifiers at Sanctuary and using them to generate most of my cash. Other sources of money involve selling any ammo, valuable junk items, and weapons I've been picking up, selling some of my huge stash of chems, and occasionally looting and stealing all the items in certain locations just to sell them back to their owners. It's a long, tedious process every time, so I've spared you the details thus far. I've also gotten rank 2 of Cap Collector and wear Lorenzo's suit, a formal hat, and fashionable glasses every time I barter to maximize profit. Anyways, I report my success to Father to level up and get the awareness perk, skip the stupid council meeting, and now have to get the Bear Lium Agatator from Mass Fusion. For the first part, I simply use Jet to grab the ID card before the Brotherhood can properly respond, pull a and use my power armor and 2 doses of Rad-X to grab the agitator. Don't know if the Rad-X was necessary, but better safe than cancerous. The Zeta gun, with the help of drug overdose, does a pretty good job against the security. So overall, I'd say this mission went off without a hitch. I even level up from it to get rank 2 of awareness, giving me 5% more damage and accuracy in VATS. Not much, but every little bit helps. Now for the semi-boring part of the Institute questline. Kill some generic gunners, rizz up the scientist, get rank 3 of demo expert, record the speech.
So much fun to put a thing in a thing.
Start the reactor, get through the meeting, yada yada, you've seen this all before. And using the Zeta gun doesn't change much during it, so I'll spare you the details. It's time to wipe out the railroad now, which I really should have done earlier. Then again, I'm a bit more powerful at this point, so I guess things will go a bit smoother. Oddly, despite being a big badass with a minigun, yelling, "You think that is going to stop me?" and literally being called Glory, she cowers in fear from my red microwave of doom. Makes things easier for me, I guess.
You think that's going to stop? You think that's going to stop me?
Now that the railroad are derailed, it's time for the Brotherhood of Steel to share a similar fate. I make one last run for ammo, teleport to the airport, and run in, fueled by nothing but hard drugs and sheer fucking will. I take down whatever unarmored personnel I can on the way to destroying the first generator, letting a courser and some synths teleport in to cover my escape for the second. The robots and turrets guarding it are no threat, so that's 2 down, 1 to go. I quickly take down the third, and again help however I can, although the synths are doing more than an adequate job. Now I just have to protect the virus as it uploads into Liberty Prime. With enough shots, I managed to take down Proctor Ingram, most likely due to her not putting any armor on her frame. Seriously, why would you not do that in a battle? I switch between taking out the people rushing for the synth and destroying the turrets and providing covering fire to the synths below. The few knights who do manage to make it to me are already wounded by the synths, so I can use critical hits and patience to whittle them down. With that, Liberty Prime tries to play with Emmett, Proctor Quinlan's cat, using his high-grade laser pointer, destroying the Pridwin and proving that yes, you can beat
Unit X688 speaks highly of your combat.
What? Who cares what he says? You just saw me take down the BOS with this glorified radar dish. Ugh. Anyways, I try a novel form of chemotherapy on my dying son, and prove that yes, you can beat Fallout 4 with only the Zeta gun. If I have to buy another Gamma round ever again, I'm going to strangle someone. Hey everyone, thanks for watching yet another video. If you liked the video, leave a like or subscribe. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike and give constructive criticism so I can improve. Also, leave your ideas for new videos in the comments. I read them all and put them at the end of each video. Your idea might even become an official video. If you really want to support me, subscribe to my Patreon or become a channel member, which will get you shouted out, guarantee an opportunity to chat with me, and make your ideas much more likely to become reality. Plus, it's only 17 cents a day. Even just 20 subscribers to my Patreon would mean a lot to me and help me put out even better content. And now, if you ever wanted my weird Mobius strip face plastered on your chest, you can check out my merch store, which is linked in the description. Check me out on Reddit or Discord if you want to chat, or check out my second channel, The Loophole, for some extra content. This is Causal Loop signing off. Peace.